Donald Trump has caused one of the biggest financial crises in our nation's history for absolutely no reason. And MAGA is pissed off about it. Ben Shapiro went off on him. Dave Portnoy, who is the owner of Barstool Sports, is pissed. I got videos from that. And also, on top of that, Donald Trump went golfing instead of seeing the dignified transfer of 4 U.S. soldiers who died. Here's Keith Boykin on CNN explaining how this is how Donald Trump always has been and always will be.
Trump really cared about the armed forces. You know what he would have done on Monday instead of going golfing with Lindsey Graham? He would have gone to see the flag-draped coffin of the U.S. soldier who was killed in Niger. He has not said one single word about the 4 American soldiers who were killed in Niger last Wednesday. It's been 8 days, and the President of the United States has refused to say.
There was a statement from the White House about it.
The President of the United States has not said a word about it.
There was a statement from the White House about it.
The President hasn't said it. He's been tweeting about the NFL.
Again, the White House put out a statement about that. You're stretching.
The President has failed to say a single word about
Thank you both. There has been criticism about him.
All right, so that's Keith Boykin from a clip in 2017 explaining how Donald Trump was tweeting about insane things, but not talking about the soldiers who died. And guess what? In 2025, he did the exact same thing. And MAGA just, I don't know how they're able to kind of process all of this, because there is no way around what's happening. We have an unfit man who is mentally unwell, making decisions that are affecting literally billions of people. And I don't know why Congress isn't doing something about it. The Republican-controlled Congress could stop Trump's tariffs. They absolutely could. The way that one MAGA person is coping is by saying the S&P 500 is now only up 118% in the last 5 years instead of 135%. And everyone is on CNBC is crying. Okay, I mean, I guess, but as Brian Tyler Cohen said, when your defense of Trump is that Biden was a responsible shepherd of the economy and market. Yeah, so you're basically saying the reason why the S&P is good right now is because of Biden and his policies. And I love this political cartoon from 1908, Republican Party holding the tariff revisions, filling themselves up, and consumers getting effed over. Not much has changed, has they? And Fox News, the way that they're coping is by saying that there's a silver lining. We're now only below 1,000 on a sell-off. The Dow is now just 984 points. Okay, let's listen.
Know that we're now below 1,000 on sell-offs, on the sell-off of the markets. The Dow is now down just 984 points. So I'm not saying that that's equated with the jobs report, Joel, but we are seeing a little bit of a pullback on futures as far as
every once in a while. Good news means good news, and to the last point, I mean,
that is not good news. That is not good. Well, we only got stabbed 4 times, and it could have been 7, and so we're bleeding out. Not as quickly as it might have been had we been stabbed 7 times. What? And yes, Donald Trump has lost Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro, who is all in on Donald Trump, literally would do anything for Donald Trump. Let's just keep it at that. And here is what Ben Shapiro is saying about Trump and his tariff policy that is literally destroying the economy.
It was, in fact, Liberation Day, his giant tariff policy that he just dropped on the market unilaterally, probably unconstitutionally. Trump's reciprocal tariffs impose hundreds of billions of dollars in new taxes on Americans, be the largest tax increase since the Revenue Act of 1968. One of the biggest tax increases on American consumers in the history of America. And it's going to cost American consumers. It will cost American producers who use inputs from other countries. The Dow Jones Industrial Average plummeted immediately more than 1,000 points. The S&P 500 plummeted more than 3%. The NASDAQ plummeted almost 4.5%. There are real world implications for this sort of stuff. Trade wars are, in fact, not good and not easy to win, particularly if you don't actually have a plan. It is predicated on a bad idea of how international trade works. A fundamental misunderstanding of trade deficits. Trade deficits they're an accounting procedure. Trade deficits have pretty much nothing to do with the health of an economy. I can name you a period in American history where there was a fairly large surplus in America's balance of trade. The entire Great Depression. Yesterday, President Trump declared that it...
Holy crap. I mean, what's really fascinating about that is that Ben Shapiro's audience is in a bubble. They are in a bubble. They get fed propaganda daily. And Ben Shapiro is actually telling the truth about this because it is negatively impacting him. That's the only reason why he's doing it. But it's an incredible thing to see someone in the right-wing media ecosystem pierce the veil and show what's really happening. And I love that he said it's unconstitutional. It's likely unconstitutional, and it is. Donald Trump is allowed to put tariffs on countries for emergency situations. Does anyone think there was an emergency before Donald Trump created one? And as I said, Dave Portnoy said that he has lost more than $7 million in stocks because of Donald Trump.
And it's tariff city. Trump has put his tariffs all over the place. I've been trying to understand them. I don't. Like, it's more a trade deficit tariff to me. Like, hey, we get this much shit from you and you get this much from us. Let's even that up. Let's get some wacky formula and do tariffs. And everything's in the shitter because of it. So I said, Dave, pick yourself up. It's okay that you don't feel good. You got to get to the people. The people need you. Get on DDG, presented by Kraken, where I do all my crypto or what I got left of it. I almost tweeted out, Dave, how much are you down right now and today? 7 million. I'm down $7 million in stocks and crypto.
Wow. $7 million. $7 million. I don't know if that's not going to wake them up. I don't know what will, and just recap on what has happened here. Here's what Donald Trump did this week. He skipped a ceremony for Florida soldiers, repeatedly tanked the stock market, tariffed an island of penguins, fired thousands from the Center of Disease Control, and then left the White House early on Thursday for a long golf tournament weekend. That is who our president is. And I'm going to end with this. Here is a clip from Ronald Reagan, who I'm not saying was a great president, but was, I don't know if he still is, revered in the Republican Party. And here is his position on all of this. And I'll see you next time.
Over the past 200 years, not only has the argument against tariffs and trade barriers won nearly universal agreement among economists, but it has also proven itself in the real world, where we have seen free trading nations prosper while protectionist countries fall behind. America's most recent experiment with protectionism was a disaster for the working men and women of this country. When Congress passed the Smoot-Hawley tariff in 1930, we were told that it would protect America from foreign competition and save jobs in this country. The same line we hear today. The actual result was the Great Depression, the worst economic catastrophe in our history. 1 out of 4 Americans were thrown out of work. Today, protectionism is being used by some American politicians as a cheap form of nationalism. We should beware of the demagogues who are ready to declare a trade war against our friends, weakening our economy, our national security, and the entire free world.